Tu Sam had long forgotten what it felt like to be celebrated. Ever since she became a single mother, birthdays were no longer about wishes, cakes, or candles. They were just another date on the calendar, a reminder that time kept moving forward, even when she was too tired to keep up with it. Her mornings always began the same way before sunrise, quietly preparing breakfast for her 6-year-old son, Nam, while trying not to wake him. Then a quick rush to get him to school, followed by hours at her small sewing job at the local garment shop. There was no room in her life for luxury, no space for dreams. Survival was her only routine. This year her birthday fell on a Tuesday. No one at work knew, not even Nam. She never mentioned it. Why bother? What she truly wished for a day without worry was something no one could wrap in a box, but someone knew. Lee, her quiet neighbor from across the hallway, had accidentally seen her birth date on a form she had dropped months ago. He said nothing at the time, but he remembered. Lee was not the kind of man who spoke much. He worked as a delivery driver, always leaving early, always returning late. Their conversations were usually limited to polite greetings in the elevator, or short exchanges when he helped her carry groceries. Yet, he noticed things like how she always wore the same worn-out shoes, how she rarely bought anything for herself, and how tired her smile looked at the end of each day. On the morning of her birthday, she found a small paper bag hanging on her door handle. No name, no note. She hesitated. Her first thought was that someone had left it there by mistake, but when she opened it, her breath caught. Inside was a neatly folded white dress simple, yet beautiful. The kind she had glanced at in the store window weeks ago, but walked past without stopping. For the first time in years, her hands trembled, not from exhaustion but from emotion. Who would do this, and why for her? She looked down the hallway, and there, leaning casually against the railing as if he had been waiting, stood Lee. For a moment, Tu Sam stood frozen. Part of her wanted to thank him. Another part wanted to run back inside and pretend none of this had happened. She wasn't used to kindness, especially the kind without explanation. Lee straightened up when he saw her holding the dress. His expression was unreadable as always, but his voice came out gentle. "Morning," he said casually, as if this were a normal day. "It's your birthday, right?" She stared at him, unsure of how to respond. "How? How did you know?" "You dropped a document once. I happened to see." Silence lingered between them. She clutched the fabric tightly in her hands. "You didn't have to do this." "I know," he said simply, "but I wanted to." Her throat tightened. She had heard many words in her life orders. Accusations. Criticism, but rarely this one. Wanted. She looked down, struggling to control her voice. "It's too much. I can't accept it." "Then don't think of it as a gift," he replied calmly. "Think of it as a reminder." "A reminder of what?" she whispered. "That you're not invisible." Her heart trembled. No one had ever said something like that to her, not since before life turned hard, not since before she learned to survive by staying silent, staying unseen. Before she could react further, a small voice interrupted. "Mama!" Nam came running out of the apartment, already dressed for school with his backpack on. He looked at the dress in her hands, then at Lee. "Did Uncle Lee buy that for you?" Tu Sam's cheeks flushed. "Nam, don't say." Lee smiled lightly. "I guess I've been promoted to uncle now." Nam beamed with innocence. "Mama, you should wear it. You'll look like a princess." She had no defense against that. Lee picked up Nam's school bag strap and helped secure it on his shoulder. "I'll walk him to school today," he said, meeting her eyes. "You go try it on." Tu Sam blinked in disbelief. "What?" "No, you don't have to." "I know," he repeated with that same calm tone. "But I want to." Before she could protest again, Nam had already taken Lee's hand. "Come on, Uncle Lee." She stood there helplessly as the two of them disappeared down the hallway. Then she looked at the dress again, and for the first time in years, Tu Sam considered the possibility that she deserved to be seen. The apartment felt strangely quiet without Nam chattering beside her. Tu Sam closed the door and stood in front of the small mirror above her sink. She carefully unfolded the dress once more, running her fingertips over the fabric as if it might disappear if she touched it too hard. Should she really wear it? She hesitated. Years of restraint held her back. She wasn't used to luxury, she wasn't used to beauty not for herself. Every decision she made was practical, reasonable, affordable. This dress was none of those things. Still, she slipped it over her head, and everything stopped. The mirror reflected someone she barely recognized, a woman who looked soft, not worn out, not exhausted, not invisible. Her hair was still messy, so she quickly tied it up again, this time more neatly. She added a little lip balm, the only cosmetic item she owned. It was a tiny change, but it transformed her face in a way that startled her. Was this really her? For once, she wasn't just someone's mother, someone's employee, or someone struggling to get by. She was just herself. Her eyes watered unexpectedly. She pressed her hand to her chest, trying to steady her emotions. No one had ever given her permission to feel this way before. A soft knock sounded on the door. Her heart jumped. She opened it slowly. Lee stood there alone this time, hands in his pockets, trying and failing not to look directly at her. His gaze flickered over her briefly before he looked away, clearing his throat awkwardly. "It fits," he said. She almost laughed at how understated he made it sound. "Thank you," she whispered. "Really?" He nodded. "Good. Then there's one more thing." Before she could ask, he lifted a small box he had been holding behind his back. She blinked. "Another gift?" "Not exactly," he said. "More like part two." He didn't hand it to her. Instead, he stepped back and motioned for her to follow. Curiosity tugged her forward. She stepped into the hallway, dress swaying softly around her knees, wondering what else could possibly be waiting. Whatever it was, for the first time in a long time, she felt something she thought she had lost forever. Anticipation. Lee led her down the stairwell without saying where they were going. Tu Sam followed cautiously, one hand brushing against the wall as if steadying herself not from the steps, but from the unfamiliar feeling of being taken somewhere instead of going alone. When they reached the building's entrance, she came to a sudden stop. Right outside, beside Lee's old motorcycle, stood a small folding table draped with a white cloth. On top of it sat a tiny cake only 4 inches wide, barely enough for 2 people. Beside it, a single candle waited to be lit. Her breath hitched. A birthday cake. For her. She hadn't had one since she was a child. Not even in pictures. Not even in memories. Lee scratched the back of his neck awkwardly. "It's nothing fancy," he said, looking anywhere but at her. The bakery didn't have many options this early. But she couldn't hear anything else. Her vision blurred. She raised a hand to her face in disbelief. Warm tears slid down her cheeks faster than she could wipe them away. Lee froze. "Hey, did I do something wrong?" She shook her head, laughing weakly through her tears. "No, you didn't. You just did something no one else ever thought to." He relaxed slightly but still looked unsure. "Come on," he said softly. "You should make a wish." She stared at the unlit candle. A wish? She had spent so long accepting reality that she forgot how to wish for anything. Wishing felt dangerous. Wishing meant wanting. And wanting often led to disappointment. Still, Lee struck a match and carefully lit the candle. Its small flame flickered in the morning breeze. He stepped back and waited, giving her space. Tu Sam closed her eyes. She didn't wish for money. She didn't wish for luck. She wished for Onseno to walk through life alone, Then she leaned forward and blew out the candle. When she opened her eyes, Lee was smiling, not a wide grin, not a playful smirk, but something quiet, gentle, almost proud. Happy birthday to Sam. For the first time in years, she believed it. In a world where everyone is constantly rushing forward, people often forget that the greatest gift one can offer is not money, luxury, or grand gestures, but attention, kindness, and the simple act of noticing someone's struggles. To Sam, like many single mothers, was not waiting for miracles. She was not hoping for a prince or a savior. She had already learned to survive on her own day after day, sacrifice after sacrifice. What she needed was not rescue, but recognition. She didn't need someone to carry her burdens. She only needed someone to see that she was carrying them. Lee's gift was not merely a dress or a birthday cake. It was a silent declaration. You matter. Your life is worth celebrating, even when you feel forgotten. His gesture was proof that kindness does not need to be loud to be powerful. It does not need to be expensive to be meaningful. It only needs to be sincere. This story reminds us that behind every quiet smile may be exhaustion. Behind every strong person may be years of silent endurance. And sometimes, the people who seem fine are the ones who most desperately need a gentle hand, a soft word, or a small reminder that they are not invisible. From Lee, we learn to look closer, to pay attention, to give before being asked. From Tu Sam, we learn that accepting kindness is not weakness. It is courage. It is allowing love back into a heart that has long forgotten warmth. And so the true lesson is this: never underestimate the power of small acts. One dress, one cake, one moment of sincerity. It may seem insignificant to you, but to someone who has been walking alone in the dark, it might be the light they've been waiting for. There is a common misconception that kindness flows only in one direction, that the giver is strong and the receiver is weak. But this story challenges that belief. Lee did not help Tu Sam because he pitied her. He helped her because he respected her. He saw her strength, not in loud victories, but in quiet perseverance. And that is perhaps the most touching form of admiration: to honor someone not for what they have achieved, but for what they have endured. Kindness, when done right, does not create distance, it creates connection. It is not a charity act, it is not superiority. It is a gentle reminder that we are all human, all fighting battles others may not see, all in need of softness at one point or another. To those who want to give, give with humility. Give without expecting anything in return. Give without making someone feel small. Sometimes the most respectful kindness is the kind that does not say, I am helping you, but rather, I am standing beside you. To those who are afraid to receive, accepting kindness does not mean you are weak. It means you are brave enough to believe that goodness still exists. You do not have to carry everything alone. You do not have to earn every smile. You deserve warmth simply because you are human. In the end, the greatest transformation in this story was not just that Tu Sam was given a gift, it was that she allowed herself to receive it. Sometimes the hardest walls to break are not made of stone, but of habit, pride, and the belief that we are unworthy of love. And when someone knocks softly on that wall with sincerity, let them in.